The drums in the Beatles aren't just there to keep time. In some songs, they quietly take the lead, shaping transitions, holding tension, and even defining the entire character of the track. And no, we're not talking about flashy solos or complex techniques. It's about precise choices, well-placed silences, and hits that land exactly where they need to. That's why in this video, you're going to discover 10 moments where the rhythm doesn't just support the music, it takes center stage. So get comfortable and watch all the way through, because every song on this list has something you won't see coming. And if you really listen, you'll start to hear these tracks in a whole new way. This song closes the Revolver album and marks a turning point in the band's sound. From the very first beat, the drums establish a repetitive, steady, almost tribal pattern. It's a rhythm that doesn't shift throughout the track, but that hypnotic repetition is exactly what holds together the experimental soundscape surrounding it. The pattern features a marked kick drum, steady cymbal, and a controlled snare that doesn't try to stand out, but instead creates a stable foundation for the loops, effects, and processed vocals to float above. What's striking is that the drumming doesn't follow a traditional rock structure, giving the song a completely different atmosphere from the rest of the band's catalog at the time. From a production standpoint, the drum track was recorded without flashy fills or dramatic breaks, a deliberate choice to achieve that almost mechanical effect. Here, the percussion doesn't just support the song, it defines its identity and makes it instantly recognizable, even without the other instruments. In this song, the drums enter unexpectedly. At first, you only hear the voice and soft piano chords, but when the percussion comes in, it doesn't follow a classic rhythm or lay down a steady beat. Instead, each drum fill is unique, carefully crafted to link phrases and build tension. This wasn't accidental. It reflects the song's fragmented and dramatic character. The same applies to the instrumental sections, where the drum hits emphasize the growing tension alongside the orchestra. Even in the quietest moments, the percussion acts like an emotional underline, never overpowering, but always there to shape the intensity. As for the recording process, multiple takes were used to capture a free, unmetered performance, allowing for subtle tempo shifts. That's why each fill feels slightly different in timing, giving the drums a deeply human feel, as if they're breathing with the song. Technically, the control of volume, dynamics, and the use of every part of the drum kit were key to achieving that fluid, expressive sound. The percussion in this song takes a minimalist approach, but that doesn't mean it fades into the background. From the start, the rhythm is gentle and steady, supporting the melody without interrupting it. Still, there are details that make it stand out. Perfectly timed silences, clean entrances, and precise accents. During the verses, the kick and snare lay down a slow, measured beat. There are no big fills or dramatic shifts, but in the bridge, the dynamic shifts subtly, and the drums open up just enough to let the rest of the instrumentation grow without losing the sense of control. It's a restrained yet intentional performance. The drums don't compete with the other elements, they frame them, giving each instrument room to shine. In a ballad like this, mastery of control and silence is just as important as technical skill. What other slow Beatles track do you think features this kind of precise, understated drumming? Let us know in the comments. This song features a fragmented, unpredictable rhythm with shifting energy. Its structure isn't typical, which calls for drumming that constantly adapts. The use of toms and snare helps build tension at key moments, matching the lyrics with a restless cadence. The drum patterns don't follow a straight line. They rise and fall, interrupt phrases, and connect them with brief but effective fills. You can feel that flexibility in every transition between verse and chorus. Here, the drums become a driving force, pushing the song forward and giving it distinct character. The cymbal work is also worth noting. It's used less for keeping time and more for emotional punctuation, to mark passages in a way that influences how the movement of the song is felt. There's no overload of notes, but each one is placed with intention, shaping the listener's perception of the track's flow. The drumming in Ticket to Ride breaks completely from the standard pop mold of 1965. Right from the first entrance, the rhythm seems to lag slightly behind the beat, creating a dragging sensation that gives the song a heavier, almost psychedelic feel. The pattern blends snare and kick with a touch of syncopation, breaking away from the tight, squared-off rhythms typical of pop rock at the time. That slight misalignment isn't a mistake, it's a deliberate choice to give the track a laid-back yet insistent pulse, as if the song is reluctant to move forward smoothly. What stands out most is the use of silence. Instead of filling every space with constant hits, the drums leave room for the guitar chords and vocals to breathe. Every beat is measured, and when the toms come in with accented hits, they act as brief interruptions that snap the listener's attention back. In the choruses, the rhythm shifts to more pronounced patterns that cut through the flow with precision, adding punch to the vocal lines. Another key technical detail is that the mix gives the drums a prominent place. Unlike many recordings of the era, they're not buried in the background. You can clearly hear every hit, every hi-hat detail, every bounce on the toms. That production decision makes the unusual rhythm stand out even more. This isn't just accompaniment. The drums define the song's identity, doing so with a dry, direct, and unconventional style. This was one of the first times the band recorded drums with a slowed-down tempo to create a heavier effect. The technique involved recording at a higher speed and then slowing down the tape, resulting in a deeper, almost echo-like punch. The rhythm itself is straightforward, but it's filled with subtle flourishes that add depth, quick rolls, double hits on the toms, and breaks that separate sections without ever changing the tempo. There are no unnecessary fills. Every detail is there for a reason. What's especially interesting is how the drums remain front and center, even as the guitars and vocals come in. The mix emphasizes the weight of the rhythm, making it feel like the core of the song. It's a perfect example of how a well-executed drum pattern can completely define a track's personality. The song opens with marked tom hits. That rhythm doesn't follow any standard formula, yet it's instantly recognizable. The dry, spaced-out strikes create a dense atmosphere that perfectly matches the song's overall tone. Throughout the entire track, the rhythm remains steady and unwavering, without major changes. But every hit feels intentional. The drums aren't there to decorate, they build the space where the other instruments move. There are no flashy embellishments, just a solid, commanding presence. One key detail is the use of silence between the hits. The rhythm breathes, allowing pauses that add depth and personality. It's one of those cases where what isn't played is just as important as what is.
To get back home.
This track holds a special place in the band's entire discography. It features the only officially recorded drum solo on a studio album. What's interesting is that it's not an extended or flashy solo in terms of virtuosity. In fact, it's built from short two-bar phrases, separated by pauses, creating a sense of dialogue between each segment. It's a solo that doesn't aim to impress with speed, but with structure. The drum part uses a stripped-down kit with no added layers or overdubs. The hits are straight to the point, blending floor toms, snare, and kick drum in slightly evolving sequences with each entry. The construction is methodical, not chaotic, and that gives the solo a distinct identity, quite unlike the more explosive solos common in other genres where drums take the spotlight. In the final mix, the solo is clean, no effects, no polish. This allows the listener to hear every detail of the strike and how the sound is spread across the stereo field. The pauses between phrases are key. They don't just mark structure, they give the listener time to process what they've just heard. The drums shine here not just because they stand alone, but because they carry the full weight of the moment without any melodic support. Did you already know about this one-of-a-kind solo? Type yes in the comments if you did, or no if you're just finding out now.
Baby's good to me, you know she's happy as.
The rhythm in this song stands out for its steady energy. From the very beginning, the drums combine snare and kick with precise strikes on the ride cymbal. It's a solid foundation, built with a clear intent to drive the song forward without losing stability. During the verses, there are accents that naturally sync with the melody. In the choruses, the drums open up a bit more, using toms to reinforce the dynamics. There are no abrupt transitions, but there's a clear progression throughout the track. One of the most striking elements is the use of space. Small, controlled pauses between phrases that help highlight shifts in energy. It's a rhythm that stays consistent, but filled with subtle details that make it highly effective.
Here comes the sun. The smile's returning.
Although the song feels gentle, its rhythmic pattern is complex. It alternates between 11/8, 4/4, and 7/8 time signatures, a structure that's highly unusual in popular music. The drums navigate these transitions effortlessly, giving fluidity to an arrangement that could otherwise feel disjointed. Throughout the track, the rhythm adapts seamlessly to the melodic structure, never drawing attention to itself, yet making the meter changes nearly invisible to the casual listener. There are small fills that bridge sections and perfectly timed hits that land right on the song's key melodic moments. There's not a single moment where the percussion loses cohesion. Every part is tightly constructed, requiring absolute control over the tempo. The drums don't just support the song, they guide the flow of a piece that may sound simple on the surface, but is rhythmically sophisticated underneath. And that's the beauty of it. You don't always need a long solo or flashy drumming to stand out. Sometimes, what truly matters is how it's played, when it comes in, and with what intent. The drums can be subtle, but when they're well thought out, they become the heartbeat of the song. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these tracks surprised you the most because of its rhythm? Or do you think there's another song where the drums deserve the spotlight? Drop it in the comments. That's where the best conversations happen. If you enjoyed this trip through time, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll see you in the next video, where the music keeps on living.